everyone. Today I want to share my opinion on all viable Witch Doctor solo builds for Season 12 that come with patch 2.6.1. So I made a little ranking on which I think is the best and the worst solo push build for next season. I also made gameplay videos of all viable builds in a Great Rift 110, all with same Paragon, all with around 100 to 110 augments. Also put those videos in the description, and I also made character planner links so you can see what kind of gear I had. And what are the best rows on this build. Okay, let's start with my build on rank 6. So we got the LON Spirit Barrage Witch Doctor here. This build was for a long time the best solo and 4-player meta group Witch Doctor build for Season 10 and Season 11. And with patch 2.6.1 it just don't got this much of a boost like the other 5 builds. We just got a little boost to Massive RAM here from 100% to 200%. Also this build is very squishy. You have to fish a lot for elite packs without any CC effects like Jailer or Vortex because you die very fast. You're not very tanky with this build. You also have to even fish for the trash mobs. You should not get as much range mobs. You only need melee mobs because when you get too much range trash you have to dodge too much and cannot stand still and deal damage with your Spirit Barrage all the time. So that's why we got this build on rank 6. So let's continue with the next build. Here on rank 5 we got the Helltooth Gargantuan Build. This build got a massive buff with patch 2.6.1. We got the increased damage to Massive Jaram from 100% to 200%. We got the increased damage to Shortman's Finger, which now deals up to 650% with each Garg. And we got the huge buff to the Helltooth Harness set from 1400% to 4400%. So your Gargs are just dealing so massive amount of damage. They're proccing area damage very good. The only bad point on this build is it's a pet build. So you can't command your pets right. They're just too stupid. You can just summon them inside a massive trash pool and hope they're focusing on the right elite packs you want to kill. So you also have to fish for a non-CC trash mob type with no knockback effects like Unbirds or Hikes. They can knock your Gargs all the time, or for an Overseers also knockbacking your Gargs all the time so that they can't really deal damage all the time. You also have to fish for elite packs without any CC effects like knockback, frozen, jailer. That's all very bad for your Gargantuans. But if you then have a rift without any CC effects, you just can kill it so fast because the Gargs are dealing so massive amount of damage. You can see it right here in the video. Then also one point why this build is only on rank 5, you can't really stack Stricken that fast. So the boss fight takes a little while if you're on a very high Great Rift. On low Great Rifts, the Gargs are just dealing instantly very high damage, so you don't need that much Stricken stacks. But on higher levels, where you would need a lot of Stricken stacks, it can take a while because you can only stack Stricken once per second with your Wall of Death or your Piranha. So that's the reason why this build is on rank 5. So let's continue with the next build. On rank 4 we got the Jade Harvester set. Jade Harvester set got a very unique playstyle, very cool playstyle. They didn't change the playstyle, it's the same like in Season 1 and Season 2. They just increased the amount of seconds you're harvesting with each harvest, or you're dealing with each cast of Haunt on a mob that also got Haunt. They also increased the seconds from the Creeping Death passive so that it matches the seconds of the Jade Harvester set, so that you don't have to cast your dots again to harvest them that are lasting long enough. So let's get to the playstyle of the Jade Harrow set, which is a very unique playstyle. The good thing on the Jade Harrow set is that you don't have to fish very much for a very good mob type. You just need the good maps where you can massive pulls of trash with elite packs in it, so that you can harvest during your poison rotation and just one-shot this massive amount of trash and proc area damage, because you need a lot of area damage with your Jade Harvester set. And then, because of your Grave Injustice passive, you can instantly harvest again, because you get so much cooldown reduction, and you can instantly Spirit Walk again, so that you cannot die. And you can continue this all the time if you got enough damage on this Greater Rift level. But that's also the reason why this build is capped to some level with some Paragon and some gems. So there's a point where you cannot continue this circle. You cannot harvest all the time, you cannot Spirit Walk all the time, and so you need another rotation. And if you need another rotation and you cannot harvest 2 times during one poison rotation, you just cannot make enough progress. Yeah, so that's the point where you cannot, where this build is not the top build. Also, the boss fight with this build, it's a good time. You can stack Stricken all the time with casting Haunt. If you get a boss with ads, you also can sometimes continue harvesting, harvest 2 times during one poison rotation. So it's a generally good time for boss fights. You get Furnace and Cube. Yeah, but because of Grave Injustice, because you need Grave Injustice to harvest again during poison rotations, that's why this build is only on rank 4. So then let's continue with the next build on rank 3. Here we got the Zuni Massa Gargantuan Build, which is just a better Helltooth Gargantuan build, but the playstyle is also very similar to the LON hybrid Firebat Gargantuan build, which was the best solo push Witch Doctor build in Season 5. Maybe if you played it and remember this build, the playstyle is very similar. Yeah, you got the same issues like with the Helltooth Gargantuan build, so you have to fish for a non-CC rift, because your Gargs are getting CC'd all the time. But this build just got a much more damage boost than the Helltooth Gargantuan build. You got the increased damage buff to the Zuni Massa set from 2500% to 5500%. In this build you can use the Mantle of Channeling Shoulders, which also gives you a 25% toughness and damage boost, because you're using Firebats to proc your Zuni Massa 6-piece set bonus. Also, the boss fight is much faster than with Helltooth, because in this build you can permanently stack Stricken with your Firebats more than 1 time per second, like with Helltooth. And also my tests, with this build you got the fastest boss kills in all solo Witch Doctor builds. Yeah, so that's the reason why this build is on rank 3 in my ranking list. So let's continue with my second best build. Yeah, here we got the Helltooth Firebat build. Firebats in general got buffed very much with patch 2.6.1. We got the increased damage bonus to Bakudi Jungle Wraps, the Firebat belt, from 200% to up to 300% increased damage to Firebats. We also got the change to the Staff of Chiropatra, which now rolls with a 150% increased Firebat damage legendary affix instead of rolling increased Firebat damage as a stat on it. And we also got the increased damage to the Helltooth set. And the Helltooth Firebat build is also just the most tankiest Firebat build we got in general, because you benefit from the 80,000 life per hit you gain from your Coils of the First Spiders bracelet, which you got cubed. And also this life hit just scales with your attack speed. So use Pain Enhancer, you also make very huge trash pulls with Firebat builds in general. So the more trash you got, the more attack speed you got, the more damage you deal with your Firebats, because you reach a very high Firebat breakpoint, and you also heal yourself very fast, because you got so much life per hit and so much attack speed. And then also you benefit from your Wall of Death rune, which is communing with spirits, which also gives you a 25% damage reduction to all enemies that get hit by your Wall of Death. So you just, when you're in a massive trash pull, you just cast your Wall of Death on yourself, so that all mobs surrounding you get hit by a Wall of Death and get this damage reduction bonus. You can also use this on the Rift Guardian, so you get permanently 25% less damage from your Rift Guardian. So, and the reason because this is the tankiest Firebat build is also the reason why this build is my rank 2 build in this ranking list. And now on rank 1 we got the Aracur Firebat build. Again, a Firebat build. So, and there are quite a few reasons why this build is just better than the Helltooth Firebat build. First, we got the damage buff of the 6-piece Aracur set bonus. So that it now deals 4500%, and that's 100% more than the Helltooth Sounder set. That's not a very great difference, but it's a difference, so it's more damage. Then next, we got the healing point. In the Helltooth Firebat build, you heal yourself with the Coils of the First Spider's Bracers, which you get cubed. And in the Aracur Firebat build, you just heal yourself with the 4-piece Aracur set bonus, which just gives you 10% life per second. So you just get a massive amount of life, a lot of percent life on your gear, a lot of vitality in your Paragon, which you generally need in all Firebat builds. So you can heal yourself with this set bonus, where you get 10% life per second after you cast your hacks. I know this healing is not as high as the healing in the Helltooth Firebat build, but it's just enough to survive in higher grade rifts if you really want to push very high in solo Witch Doctor and maybe want to get a really high rank. So the point is, you don't need any extra item cubed to get your healing. So you have a free place in your cube so that you can use the Mantle of Channeling Shoulders in cube, which also give you a 25% increased damage bonus. So now we got the Helltooth Firebat build, which just is a lot more tankier than the Aracur Firebat, and the Aracur Firebat build, which just deals a little bit more damage. That's not a great difference. If it only would be those points, you could push both builds. You just would balance this with Paragon points. You can put more Paragon points with this one build into Intelligence, and this other one need to put more points in Vitality. And it would end like the same Great Rift level where you can push with those builds. But then we get the reason why the Aracur Firebat build is just the best solo push Witch Doctor build. And that's very simple, it's just because of hacks. On hacks, you use the Jinx rune, where all enemies that get hacks are also getting increased damage, 15%. That's also just a little bit more damage with Aracur set. But the main reason is because all enemies that get hexed, which are around, I think, 5 enemies, cannot CC you. And you have Graven Dresser's passive, so you get a lot of cooldown reduction in a massive pull, so you can cast very much hacks, little voodoo guys, so that they can CC more than 5 enemies. So you got a CC on all enemies around you. You can turn them into pigs, so they cannot attack you, they cannot CC you. And that's the main issue with all Witch Doctor builds, just not with Jade. Jade is, yeah, you don't have a CC problem with Jade build, but in all Witch Doctor builds, in all Garg builds, in all Firebat builds, you have this massive CC issue. And in the Aracur Firebat build, you just got your Hex guy, which turns your enemies into pigs, and they cannot continue to CC you. And you can just stand there and cast your Firebats. You don't get knockback, you don't get frozen if they hit the elite pack. It's just a little bit luck that they really turn those monsters that have those CC affixes into chicken. But if you have this, you just cannot get CC'd, and yeah, that's just the whole reason why the Aracur Firebat build is just the best Witch Doctor solo push build. So I hope you guys enjoyed my little Witch Doctor build ranking for season 12, and maybe if you want to push Witch Doctor solo, it helps you to decide on which build you want to push with. So thanks for watching, and see you in season 12. Goodbye.